You have studied English for years, and on paper, you are not bad at it. You understand conversations, you recognize words, and you can even write fairly well. But the moment you try to speak, something strange happens. Your thoughts get stuck, your confidence drops, and simple sentences suddenly feel difficult. So, the real question is not, why is your English weak? The real question is, why can't you use what you already know? Welcome back to the channel, where we focus on skills that actually improve your real life, not just your knowledge. Today, we are talking about something that frustrates millions of people. You know English, yet speaking it feels uncomfortable and slow. It feels like there is a gap between what you understand and what you can express. This is not happening because you lack ability. It is happening because of how you were taught and how you have been practicing. In this video, you will finally understand what is holding you back and what shift you need to start making real progress. Why your English never turns into speech. The core issue begins with how English was introduced to you from the very start. In most cases, it was never treated as a living language. It was treated as a subject that needed to be studied, memorized, and tested. You were rewarded for correct answers, not for clear communication. You focused on grammar rules, sentence structures, and vocabulary lists, but very little attention was given to actually speaking. Over time, this built a habit of thinking about English instead of using it. Because of this, your brain developed a passive relationship with the language. You became good at recognizing patterns, understanding meanings, and identifying mistakes. However, you were not trained to respond instantly or express your own thoughts in a natural way. This is why, when you try to speak, your mind does not move smoothly. It starts searching for rules, checking correctness, and trying to avoid mistakes. That extra thinking creates hesitation, and hesitation breaks fluency. Another important factor is the environment in which you learned. Most of your practice probably happened silently through reading or listening. Even when you spoke, it was limited, controlled, and often judged. This created pressure instead of comfort. When speaking feels like something that will be evaluated, your brain becomes cautious. Instead of focusing on expression, it focuses on avoiding errors. This shifts your attention away from communication and towards perfection. Over time, this creates a loop. You speak less because you feel unsure, and because you speak less, you never build confidence. The less you practice, the more difficult it feels, and the cycle continues. What makes this more frustrating is that you already know enough English to start speaking. The problem is not lack of knowledge. The problem is lack of active usage and the habit of overthinking before speaking. Once you understand this, everything starts to make sense. You do not need a completely new language system. You need a new way of using the language you already have. The hidden reasons you are still not fluent. One of the biggest reasons your fluency feels blocked is the habit of translating in your head. Before speaking, you first form the sentence in your native language and then try to convert it into English. This extra step slows down your thinking and breaks your natural flow. Instead of speaking smoothly, you pause, search for words, and lose confidence mid-sentence. Over time, this becomes automatic, and every conversation starts to feel like a mental task instead of a natural response. Another reason is the constant fear of making mistakes. You have been conditioned to believe that speaking correctly is more important than speaking freely. Because of this, You try to fix every sentence before you say it. This creates pressure, and that pressure makes your speech slower and less confident. The truth is, fluency is built through imperfect speaking, not perfect thinking. When you allow yourself to speak without overcorrecting, your flow begins to improve naturally. There is also a major gap in how you practice. Most people spend their time watching videos, reading content, or listening to English, thinking it will improve their speaking. While these activities help with understanding, they do not train your ability to express. Speaking is an active skill, and it requires active effort. If you are not regularly forming sentences and saying them out loud, your brain does not develop the speed and confidence needed for real conversations. Finally, inconsistency plays a silent but powerful role. You may feel motivated for a few days and practice, but then you stop for a while and lose momentum. Fluency does not come from occasional effort. It grows from small, repeated actions done daily. When practice is irregular, your progress resets again and again, which makes it feel like you are not improving at all. Consistency is what turns small improvements into real confidence over time. The system that actually makes you speak. The good news is that once you understand the problem, the solution becomes much simpler. You do not need to start from zero or learn everything again. You just need to change how you use English in your daily life. Fluency is built through small, consistent actions that train your brain to respond faster and more naturally. When you shift from passive learning to active usage, progress becomes visible. The first step is to start thinking in English, even in very simple ways. You do not need complex sentences. Begin with small thoughts like describing what you are doing or how you are feeling. For example, you can say in your mind that you are getting ready, feeling tired, or planning your next task. This practice slowly removes the habit of translation and helps your brain connect directly with English. Over time, your thoughts become faster and clearer. The next step is to speak regularly, even if you are alone. You do not need a partner to begin. You can describe your day, talk about your plans, or explain something around you in English. This may feel unusual at first, but it builds comfort and reduces hesitation. When you speak without fear of judgment, your confidence starts to grow, and your sentences begin to flow more naturally. Another powerful method is to learn by copying real speakers. When you watch someone speaking English, do not just listen. Pause and repeat what they say, matching their tone and speed. This trains your pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence at the same time. It also helps you understand how sentences are used in real situations, not just how they are written in books. Most importantly, start speaking before you feel fully ready. Waiting for confidence or perfection will only delay your progress. Your English will improve through usage, not preparation. In the beginning, your sentences may feel incomplete or slightly incorrect, but that is part of the process. As you continue, those small efforts turn into better structure, stronger confidence, and eventually, natural fluency. The truth that changes everything. At some point, you need to accept a simple truth. Fluency is not about learning more. It is about using what you already know. Most people keep collecting new words, new rules, and new lessons, hoping that one day they will feel ready. That day rarely comes, because readiness is not created by knowledge alone. It is created by action. If you think about it honestly, you already understand a lot more English than you use. You recognize sentences, you follow conversations, and you know basic structures. The gap is not in your knowledge, it is in your usage. Until you start expressing your thoughts regularly, that gap will remain no matter how much you study. Another important shift is letting go of the idea that fluency must look perfect. Real communication is not about perfect grammar in every sentence. It is about being able to express your ideas clearly and confidently. When you focus on connection instead of perfection, your speech becomes more natural and less stressful. Consistency is what makes the real difference in the long run. Small efforts done every day will always beat intense effort done once in a while. Even 10 to 15 minutes of daily speaking can slowly rewire your thinking pattern. With time, what once felt difficult starts to feel normal. So instead of asking, "How can I learn more English?" start asking, "How can I use English more today?" That single shift in mindset can change your entire journey. When you begin to use the language daily, fluency stops feeling like a distant goal and starts becoming a natural part of your life. If you have been struggling to speak English, understand this clearly. The problem was never your intelligence or your ability. It was always the method you were following. Now you have a different approach. You know what was holding you back and what you need to start doing instead. The only thing that matters now is whether you apply it. Start small, stay consistent, and focus on using the English you already know. With time, what feels difficult today will start to feel natural. Fluency is not a talent. It is a result of daily action. If this video gave you a new perspective, like and show your support so more people can find it. Drop one simple sentence in English in the comments. Start now, not later. Share this with someone who understands English but struggles to speak. Subscribe if you want content that actually builds real-life skills, not just motivation. Turn on the bell icon so you never miss any updates of new videos, shorts and posts. Thank you for spending your time here. It genuinely means a lot. Keep improving, keep practicing, and I will see you in the next video.